I was so done. I was so over it. Him asking me to stay up the class or him writing my name on the board and putting 50 slashes by it didn't even faze me. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel and a special welcome to all of my new people. Last week I posted a short that gave me over 25 subscribers just in that one short, so I'm really excited. So if you are new, you picked the perfect time to be new because today I have a story time for y'all. I've been kind of slacking on my story time, not gonna lie. I only have like 2 up on my channel, but I got a good one for y'all today. So just forget about all your troubles just for 1 second and just relax. Before we get started, I just gotta say one thing. I tried to, upgrade a little bit and get a new mic and be all little fancy schmancy. This mic is trash. I'm like so mad because I was ready for the story time today or whatever. I was gonna have a little upgrade and whatnot, but no, it's garbage and I'm upset. So for the time being, we're just gonna have to keep using my phone camera. I'm so sorry, but an upgrade is coming soon. Anyways, let's get into the story, y'all. So this happened back when I was in the 7th grade. I was like 11 or 12 years old, and the teacher was my math teacher, but it wasn't like my original teacher that was abusive. That teacher actually was there just for a short period of time in the beginning of the school year. She had got sick and left for like the rest of the school year, and honestly, I don't think she ever came back. The abusive teacher that I'm talking about was a sub and ended up being a permanent sub, almost kind of like how you have those subs up for teachers who go on maternity leave. It was kind of like that same deal. But yeah, so he ended up coming and being a sub, ended up being the sub for the rest of the school year, and we are going to name him Mr. Meanie because he was mean. Mr. Meanie, that's his name. And at first, y'all, I guess he was like actually kind of cool. Y'all all know how we act when there's a sub. We don't listen. The rules aren't really the rules. We be making up our own rules because we thought like our original teacher would come back eventually. Like it was before he became permanent when he was like kind of cool, we would kind of do whatever we wanted to do, right? And it was actually a little weird looking back at it because he was particularly nice to all of us girls. I don't know, he just like didn't really care what we did, and he like really wouldn't teach at the beginning. So it started off real like, okay y'all, this the fun class, just like we finna be in the back doing our own thing. Like yeah, at first it was real chill, real fun. And actually I'm gonna say 7th grade as a whole, like overall, y'all, we were off the chain. Like even with our regular teachers, like we weren't bad. It's just like we had a different level of energy, amount of energy that I don't even know how 11 and 12-year-olds have that kind of energy. Now I could never. But back then, like you would think that I had drank like 2 and 3 Celsius. We was hyper, we was all over the place, like nobody was listening. We did whatever we wanted to do. Like we weren't bad, like disrespectful, but we were just always having fun, having a good time. Like back then, school was actually that's where your friends was. That's where fun times was. I don't know what's going on in schools now, but back then, y'all, the whole 7th grade as a whole was just, whew. I don't really remember the time of year where he had got, I guess, hired on as permanent. I want to say it was around maybe October, November or something like that. But yeah, so he ended up, Mr. Meanie, getting hired on as permanent sub for the rest of the year. And that's when he, in my opinion, started to act kind of different. Like he would kind of start targeting certain students. So like some students he would just kind of leave alone and let them do their work, and then some students he would like provoke, like on purpose. And I was one of those students, and I don't know why. Like I guess he just picked names out the hat and see who am I gonna be mean to or pick on today. And I was one of them students continuously. You know how back in the day, if you're like kind of my age, I'm 20 by the way, but back in the day the teacher used to write your name on the board. Y'all I don't know how teachers do discipline now, but they used to write your name on the board. And if you got a tally or a check mark beside your name, oh, you are in hot water. So I'm telling y'all, if I breathed the wrong way, my name was on the board. If I did anything, my name was on the board, along with the rest of like the people that he chose to kind of target. Like we were just like his main like punching bags, and we didn't know why. And like it got to a point where he was actually starting to do and say damaging things such as humiliation. And I feel as though if an adult humiliates a child, like that's a different, like I don't even know if there's a word for that. He would start to do humiliating type things towards the students that he just didn't like. I remember this one particular time we were doing some kind of, I think it was like geometry or something, and there was like a number in the bottom right corner of every shape. I think I can't even barely remember, like math don't even stick with me no more. So we were doing something like that, and I raised my hand to ask about an exponent, because you know an exponent goes in the top right corner, but those numbers were in the bottom right corner, and I just got the two mixed up, y'all. I was like 11 years old, and when I tell you, he like got so mad. He was like, "Are you stupid?" Da, 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 da. And he would like call me all of these derogatory names, and I was like, so like I don't even know the word, like just like how I saw myself like just would lower and lower and lower, because like anytime I had a question, I just thought that I was asking the stupidest question in the world, or that I was just a stupid person overall, because that's how he would make me feel. I would evoke so much anger out of him, and I did not know why. Like he was just so mad. And y'all, it was almost like I couldn't do anything right. Everything I did was wrong. Like if he said, "What is 2 + 2?" and I said 4, he would say, "Wrong. Like how did you show your work?" Like, you know, like he would just find something to say. So I did not feel pleased or proud with myself. And I never knew why that was, right? And so both of my parents are teachers. My dad teaches high school history, and my mom is a second grade teacher. So all my life, I've seen the behind the scenes and both sides of what teachers really go through. But I ain't never seen nothing like this, right? So anytime I would have an encounter with a teacher, I would kind of always know in the back of my head what they probably have to deal with, because I seen my mother go through it, I seen my father go through it. But this was I was thrown for a loop. But one day comes around and Mr. Mimi is going around checking homework. The day prior, he wrote in our notebooks like what was supposed to be homework, I think, but with his scribble scrabble, and he was already an unorganized person as it was, I did not know that was supposed to be homework, right? In any normal class, when a student does something as common as not doing or forgetting to do their homework, you get some kind of regular, normal, like discipline or punishment, for lack of better terms. Like you get a star taken off your good noodle board or something like that, or you get silent lunch, something normal. Not this man. No, not this man. When I tell you, he would just get so enraged anytime I did something wrong. So he asked me to stay after class. Before he even asked me that, he asked the entire class to humiliate me. He was like, "Did everybody know that this was supposed to be homework? Did everybody know?" And he goes, "Apparently Caitlin didn't know." And he does that whole big thing to like point me out. Yeah, I was not the only one that did not do the homework, by the way. But yeah, he did this whole big thing to point me out, and then he asked me to stay after class. And at this point in the year, I think this was really towards the end of the year, y'all, I was so done. I was so over it. So him asking me to stay after class, or him writing my name on the board and putting 50 slashes by it, didn't even faze me at that point. So I was just like, whatever, Mr. Mimi, fine, I'll stay after class. Like I was to the point where I was like talking back to him, because I just didn't care. Like I was tired of getting bullied by a grown man, you know? So I stayed after class, and he's talking to me about something that had absolutely nothing to do with me not doing homework, right? He's telling me his life story, and he's just like, I don't even know. Like he would always have this narrative about how he used to work at NASA. And he will always go on and on and on about how he used to work at, by the way, nobody in the class really believed that he actually like worked at NASA. I think it was like an internship of some sort like a decade ago prior. But other than that, like he would just drag it how he used to work at NASA. So he was talking about something like that, right? I just remember him saying with the utmost like definiteness in his voice, "You will never be anything because you are a girl and because you're black." I looked up at that man and I made eye contact with him. I stared into his soul. I turned around. I slammed the door so hard. I'm surprised the glass off the door did not break, but I shook the whole hallway. And so because I stayed after class teachers were supposed to stand outside of their classroom during class change, and class change had just ended, but the teachers were still kind of congregating outside of their classrooms, right? And so when I did that, the science teacher, because all of our classes were on the same hall, saw me, and she was like, go into my class, go into my class. And she was a nice lady, y'all. She was a really nice lady. She was like, I don't know what that was, but go sit in my classroom. And so I just sat in there, y'all, and I cried 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 so hard. I tell her what happens, and she calls down to administration, and I spent the rest of the school day in the office, y'all. I think it was probably a good 2 hours, which, I mean, that felt like a long time to me to be sitting in the office. So I was in the office for the rest of the entire day, and I was just sitting in like the main office for a while before I even got called back to the assistant principal's office. And so when I got called back there, she asked me what happened, and then eventually, like, it was like 10 minutes before I think the school day was gonna be over, he gets called down. Mr. Meany gets called down. He tells his side of the story with y'all. When I tell y'all, this man came up in there and switched everything that he said. I was just sitting there like looking at my lap, just silent, because I was just still so, I don't even know the emotion that I was feeling. Like, I was just, I don't think there's worth that kind of emotion. So my mom ends up coming to the school, because I think they call my mom whatever. School day is over. So my mom goes inside, I stay in the car, and she wanted to just get his side of the story, I guess. And I'm just sitting in the car just waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting for my mom to come back outside. She was in there for a long time, y'all. And she comes out, and I guess the whole thing was resolved. Like, I don't know what I should have went up to the classroom, because I know he said some lies. But my mom was just like coming out like, it was a misunderstanding. Like, my mom was on my side, but like, I don't know how he explained it to her, but it just somehow got resolved in a way that didn't seem that bad as it was. But okay, like I said, y'all, it was the end of the school year. I just remember because it was like right around cheer tryouts, because I tried out for cheer, and I cheered that next season. He ended up getting fired, of course, but that's a whole, I remember that day. Oh my gosh, that's a whole another story time. Okay, y'all, that is the story about my abusive teacher, and about how he humiliated me time and time again, and how he told me I would never be anything because I am Black and because I am a girl. And the funny thing is, y'all know I work at Walgreens, and you know Walgreens does photos. So they go on the app and they send in their photo order, and when the customers come in to pick up their order, they'll say, oh, last name this, right? And so I recognized the last name of this one lady, and it happened to be the teacher that got sick and left. I was like, oh my gosh, like, you were my 7th grade math teacher, y'all. This was like a couple weeks ago. And so it was just like nice seeing her again, because she was actually a nice lady. Unfortunately, she did get sick. She is still teaching though. She says she teaches kindergarten or whatever. But yeah, it was just crazy how that, I mean, I guess it kind of came around full circle. I don't know. But you know, just seeing her again after all these years, and knowing what I went through after she left, like, it just kind of came back to me. So I just want to tell this story. But that is all I have for y'all today. And once again, welcome new people. I cannot believe just that one video gave me that many subscribers. But if you liked this video, hit the like button. If you did not like this video, then hit the like button, and don't forget to comment and subscribe if you have not already. And one last thing, y'all, one last thing. Today is October 9th, 2023, and I will be 21 years old on October 11, 2023, and I'm so excited. So next week I have a lot of announcements to make, of new things coming to my life, of new things coming to this channel, so please stay tuned for that. I was gonna say all that stuff this week, but I decided to just hold off a little while longer. So just be patient, hold tight, and I have a lot of things to tell y'all, and I cannot wait. Okay, but other than that, see y'all later.